three right away. Just attack the basket. James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Boom shakalaka!
We're back. Skiddy, we're here. Boom. How you doing, mate? Been a hot minute.
Finally time, mate. Finally get time to get back into some NBA action. We've got the draft coming up, man. I'm very excited.
Kemp, let's be honest. We're not here to fuck spiders. We're here to ask really honest questions. Are you really excited by this NBA draft?
No, but it's interesting to see where people are going to go, what moves are going to be made. This could be the most amount of trades that we're going to see in an NBA draft for a long time, because there's a lot of teams that are expecting to trade picks, move back, move up, move out completely. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. So I'm keen to see it.
And I think it is an interesting draft by that regard. Like there's not a lot of guys in here who have that superstar potential. Obviously, we all want Cuppy Boy next year and everything else, Cooper Flag. And, we all want these guys coming in for next year. But when you've got a lot of guys like this who are your role players, your future KCPs of the NBA, this is like a KCP draft. You know what I mean? Like this is like a role player draft. Well, it does offer you a lot of there's a lot of guys you can get who can play a role in a team.
If a lot of these guys are sitting there going, yeah, I'd love to be KCP, the fifth guy on an NBA championship winning team twice, and then just to get pissed during the parade, that seems like a pretty good way for me to be able to have my NBA career.
Unfortunately, most of them are 18 or 19 who think they will be the best player on the best team and winning an NBA championship at this point. So it all comes down to ego. Look, we've got a bit of a game today to bounce back into it called Fake GM. Skiddy and I are going to take the top 15. Should we do this top 15? Because it kind of falls off a cliff and there's more interesting guys we're going to talk about, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think 15 is about the right cutoff point, because then we can get there's probably another 8-9 guys that you could probably make a case for after that. And then they all kind of just...
Brandon James.
Sorry, mate, I said 8 to 9, not 50 to 60. Jeez, come on.
Where do you think he goes realistically in the draft? Do we see the big news story coming out after the first round of the draft is that Bronny James has been taken in the first round? What's your odds on that one at the top?
I don't see a way where he gets picked in the first round. I just don't see how it happens. I mean, look, he's worked out for 2 teams, Phoenix and the Lakers. That's it. I don't see the Lakers taking him at 17,
Uncle
18?
Messiah?
And then
Uncle Messiah wants in?
Yeah. Suns have got 22. So I can't see him taking him anywhere there. No other team would probably take a swing on him because he hasn't worked out for him, and who gives a crap. So yeah, that's just kind of what is he? He's paying like $101 to go in the top 10 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Now.
That's ridiculous. You're not backing that money anytime soon in the top 10. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes anywhere from 22, 23.
You reckon he can go first round?
Yeah, I do.
You reckon Phoenix would take him pick 22?
Yeah. I don't see a world where it wouldn't happen. There's been bigger surprises. Let's be honest. There's been bigger surprises in the NBA.
They have been.
There's great upside in him. There's a lot of talk that's not just from him about it. He's impressed in workouts with scouts. He did a pretty good combine. We know that he was medically injured, and we all know, hello, Michael Porter Jr., guys who get that, medical cloud over them can bounce back in time and have productive NBA careers. So I do see a world where the pedigree is there for someone to roll the dice. Just to roll the dice and be like, you know what? Shit draft. Let's just take Bronny. 26. Boom. Merry Christmas.
I can see it in the aspect of being like a good business sense move as well, because he's obviously going to draw people in.
Yep. If you're the Charlotte Hornets, if you're the Charlotte Hornets, take a wild crack. If you're the Washington Wizards,
6 at 2,
no, not that far up, but later in the draft, mate. Look, the New York Knicks have picks 24 and 25.
Yeah,
Yep. Let's take a real guy, take an upside guy. We all know there's been talk of LeBron James going to New York. God, wouldn't that be funny if he ends up not going there? Anyway, look, I'm going to take a sip. I'm going to take a sip. Cheers to you, my good friend. Let's gentlemen's paper, scissors, rock to see who goes first in this thing.
Sounds good. That sounds
All right.
good. All right, you call it in.
All right. How do you do this? I'm going to show on paper, scissors, and then we show on rock. We show on rock.
What the hell? You just go paper, scissors, rock. What do you mean?
I work in a primary school. There's politics to this shit.
Fair
Ready?
enough. All right.
Paper, scissors, rock.
Is that scissors or paper?
That's scissors.
Let's go.
All right. Well, thank you very much to our good friends, the Standard Squeeze as well. They're our good friends. I'm taking a sip from them. Make sure you get out their gear as well. I'm going to take off my Standard Squeeze hat. You'll rock yours. You got your 4 and 1 there. And because it is a draft show, I am on my NBA. There you go, NBA draft hat. I'm Switzerland fake GM. If we were the general managers from the teams drafting in at number 1, Jake Skidmore, tell me, you are on the clock now. You have taken the role as the general manager of the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes, sir. So pick one, Atlanta. I don't think this is how it's going to play out on draft night. But if I was to pick one, I think I would go with Alex Sarr out of Perth. Perth Wildcats in France. Look, he has a good build, 6'11", good solid wingspan at 7.4. I mean, look, you couldn't see as much as you wanted to see out of him in Perth, but he's playing against grown men, so I feel like that's kind of where we kind of look at it there. He's been good before that. 1.5 blocks is nice. I feel like he could fit in quite well next to Okongwu, and then also if Jalen Johnson can play the 3 there in Atlanta. I kind of like how that kind of works because you've got these athletic, long, rangy kind of players. And then if he can show an ability to actually shoot, then I really like Sarr even more. He was at 27% from 3, so that can come up. And he only played 18 minutes a game, but he still had 9.6 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks. So I feel like that is probably where I would lean to go with pick one for the Hawks. And then we have to remember that when we are 100% talking about this, Matty, there is already speculation that Alex Sarr has pretty much committed himself to Washington. Washington is committed to him. Sarr's now not working out for any other team, and it's most likely that Sarr is going to go number 2 to Washington.
Yeah, and it's most likely that you are to break my heart because I thought that would be how this might play out, and you would play sensible Atlanta Hawks GM, and you would take Donovan Clingan with the number 1 pick, who's widely kind of held in their beliefs as a pick and roll threat. Now, look, if they do take this, fantasy implications here. If Clingan goes number 1 to the Atlanta Hawks, Sarr goes to 2 at the Wizards, who I don't get to pick now when I have to say F you and, tactfully change my drafting position. Yep, thank you.
Yes.
Look, tell me about it. What do you think the fantasy implications are here? Because I'm seeing that that's a goodbye Clint Capella move as well.
If they take Clingan, Sarr or Clingan.
Clingan.
If they take Clingan, then I still don't think that means shit. I think that Capella could still leave, but then it's going to be a Okongwu, and then they'll just bring Clingan off the bench and just let him kind of work his way into the system. I don't see him being if they choose him pick 1, I can't see him starting opening night.
Okay, I'm still in the mindset with the whole Trae Young and DeJounte Murray off-season debacle. What's happening there? Where do they go? Who do they go to? And what the fallout of that is. If they're looking to rebuild this, and if they put in Clingan as the center, Okongwu as a power forward, which we saw some time last year, it gets a little bit messy. It gets just messy. But they are in that youth movement. This is where I can see them taking. Look, I'm going to take with the second pick. I'm going to go down here now.
Get you up. Hang on. G, second pick, Washington Wizards. Who we got?
Look, I'm looking for need here. And if I'm in the Washington Wizards, what I really need is everything because I suck. Yeah. I know you like that. I can see you laughing. I need everything if I'm the Washington Wizards. They need absolutely everything in their team. What do you need if you're a Wizard? Well, you've got Kyle Kuzma and hopefully a rejuvenated Jordan Poole. We don't know what's happening with our good friend, Mr. Tyus Jones in the offseason. He could go, he could stay. But what I am thinking is, do I take Ricochet? I am. I'm taking
Yeah.
Ricochet. I'm having him. I love the fact that he's a catch and shoot threat. I love the fact that he is 38.7% from three. He has versatility in the position, which I love. And look, he also can move. He can move off the ball. He's a good movement shooter, so he can wrap around screens and pull up as well. He is solid ball. He's got a really good handle as well on him. So I'm leaning into Ricochet for my second pick for the Washington Wizards, especially if Sarr's off the board. I'm looking for someone else. The guy's big. He's 6'9", basically. He's young. He doesn't have a bigger wingspan. He's only got a 6'10" wingspan, 6'9.5". But yeah, I'm gonna have to go Ricochet, number 2. I just like how he profiles. He has skill, and he showed some really good decision making as well, Skiddy. So for me, I'm kind of leaning into him going as my second pick, especially if it does play out the way that we were thinking. And Sarr, if Sarr does go number 1, well, if he does, I'm gambling. But you cooked me.
So do you think Sarr's going to, is what we're all hearing, do you think that Atlanta do go Klingon, or do you reckon that they do go Ricochet?
I think they go Klingon, to be honest. I do think they go Klingon. I think at the end, my gut tells me that he is more NBA ready than some of the other prospects that we're hearing. He's come from a good system. Look, we all know that he's an incredible threat, like defensively at the rim. They need that, So I'm just thinking if that's where it's going to fall down, that's where it's going to go. Like that's what he brings to the party: shot blocking, interior scoring, the dump offs. And if they do keep Trey, he's been very good in the pick and roll game for a long time. And we all know that he's cut his chops with Clint Capella. He can show Klingon some things. Klingon's just going to get there and clean up the gravy. So yeah, I do think that he's a really good shout for them, to be honest. And I'm curious what happens with the Congo. It falls to you, number 3. And I love this for you in your journey, Skiddy, because it is your Mrs. team. It is Mrs. Skidmore's team, the Houston Rockets. What does baby girl want for her team with the 3rd pick?
So with the 3rd pick for the Houston Rockets, he's not the top of my draft board, Matty, but I think that I'm going to go with positional fit, and I think that they can go with Reed Shepherd. I think out of Kentucky. I think Shepherd, he's only 6'2", but, he's only 20 years old, so maybe there can be a little bit extra into that. The wingspan's at about 6'4", so I don't mind that. He did average 2.5 steals, which is a pretty good indication that he's able to actually do something at the NBA level. But the things that really, really get me excited about him is the 70% true shooting through college out of Kentucky. 52% three-point shooting is outrageous. I think he's the most efficient player in college history. He did only average 12 points a game, but I don't care about that because the minutes weren't sky high. It was 28 and the usage wasn't sky high. But free throw percentage, steals, assists, I like what they can get out of it. I
love his commitment to defense. Like he is, despite being small, he is an absolute fucking dog on that basketball.
He is, but that's the thing that worries me is the physicals of being I heard someone compare him to Fred VanVleet. He's not able to be Fred VanVleet.
No.
Fred VanVleet almost averaged a block as a 6-foot point guard. He's not on that level. He does not have the hand quickness that Fred does when people are going up for jump shots. But if he does go to the Rockets, he could be a nice spark plug off the bench, could be the next guy behind Freddie. And who better to teach you how to be somewhat like Fred VanVleet than Fred VanVleet?
Not Jalen Green.
No.
That's who you don't learn from. Don't learn from Jalen. Be learning for free. And that's true with him as well. 52.1% from college from 3. It looked obviously a different 3-point line we're talking here, but the man knows how to make a shot. The steals a game, 2.5. He obviously showed out for Kentucky, and he was an absolute workhorse. And I've heard shades and comparisons here. Look, I put it in the notes for you. Steve Nash and Derek White comps as well. He's got around the place. Like it's all over the shop.
That comp does my head in. How on earth you're saying Steve?
I've got a better one. Completely
different.
I've got a better one for you. Well, this is the shades of. I've got this one. Low, Trey Burke. Medium, Emmanuel Quickly. a small Emmanuel quickly. And I think you hit the nail on the head. His highest upside would happen to be Fred VanVleet. Has to be the highest side.
Yeah, but that's a lot to be Fred.
That's a lot. It's a lot to get there. All right. Well, we've got taken. We'll do a top 5 recap in a second.
Yep.
I guess I'll go to I guess it's me, number 4.
It is you, 4 for the Spurs. So, who do you think, if you were the general manager for the Spurs, who are you taking?
I already stuffed myself. Look, I am going a little bit spicy here. I am having to go. Okay. I am going to bring in Buzelis.
Yeah, love it.
You love it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, mate. This is number 2 on my board.
This is number 2 on your board. Look, this guy has size. He has playmaking. He can shoot it from anywhere on the floor. God knows he loves it. So he's got spacing. And the thing that I really love about Buzelis, am I saying? I think it's Buzelis.
Yeah.
I just feel like saying. I'm sure it's Buzelis, but I just keep on saying Buzelis because every other person in this draft is basically French.
Boozy.
Boozy. My big boy Boozy. Look, I just love his natural feel for the game. He's shown out. They've said they've got the 4th and the 8th pick, so we're expecting him to go possibly to them. We all know that they need a playmaker. Now, he didn't shoot well from the 3-ball like last season in the G League Ignite. Only 27.3% from 3. That's not going to be a big flash, but he does show room to improve. And what do you need beside a superstar, a generational superstar like Victor Wembanyama? You need a floor spacing. You need someone who can basically tee it up for who's going to be one of the best players in the NBA as far as I'm concerned, Skiddy. So for me, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking about how can I best support my number 1 guy? And my number 1 guy, for all intents and purposes, is old mate Buzelis at this point in the draft. So I'm looking for a floor maker. I'm looking for size. Like, the guy is 6'8". He's got a 6'10" wingspan. He's got it there. His off-ball defense is widely regarded as well. And also, I just you watch him play, and he's a bit of a savant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's just got a natural vibe. Like, he's always seems to be able to make the right play, not hunting too much for his own shot. He's really good in transition as well, which the Spurs definitely need. And also, for me, they cooked the pooch last year on the Sohan experiment. But what did that show you? Yeah. They wanted someone big. They wanted some playmaking in that way. And I think Buzelis is a natural fit more than Sohan in the role. Bob's your uncle. That's who I'm taking with my pick at number 4.
I really like it. I think that everyone is
Boozy.
I've seen Boozy go as low as like
the booze bus.
In some, I like the booze bus. Yeah. I've seen him go as low as 10. I think that's crazy. This is a bloke that we were talking about as number 1 before he went to the G League Ignite. And
this is true.
So he went to the G League Ignite and they lost they got belted most games. And he still, showed defensive prowess, which I really, really liked. Almost 2 blocks a game, almost 7 rebounds, like that. And he was an okay 3-point shooter. And then last year he shot shit, and everyone's just gone off of him.
I also think that what didn't. But let's not. Well, I've got a sound effect for that somewhere. Well down deep in here. Got to get back on here. I also think the thing which also. Here we go. Wait. There we go. Let's hold on to it. The other thing for me, though, is I think he just needs to get that. I think he physically needs to be stronger because he showed flashes of finishing at the rim initially, but he didn't do so well last year finishing at the bucket. And I think what's going to be his next step is when he manages to finish at the rim with his size, like a Skiddy type, big, handle, get to the rim, make your shots, knock them down, get those easy points, get them on the board. There you go. Bob's your uncle. On to number 4.
Mate, again, just quickly again, I just think that there's so much more here because this is the potential for a Matt like Matt. If he puts on size, right, we've got a 6'9" bloke that's, athletic and's got built. Like, Giannis wasn't big when he came into the league. I'm not saying he can be Giannis, but I'm saying that he can follow that same kind of path. And then, we got a guy there. So, no, I like that pick of Buzelis. I really, really like that from you, G Weasel. So,
thank you, mate. We're calling the booze bus.
The booze bus. Yes, sir.
The booze bus.
So what have I got? Now
You've got pick number 5. You're up.
Oh, God.
Your favorite team in the league, the Detroit Pistons.
So if I was Detroit, What do they need?
Everything.
They everything. Need
everything.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely do need a lot. All right. So what I'm going to do for Detroit is I think I'm going to go with a guard, just in case Jaden Ivey, Cade experience doesn't really work out. I think I'm going to go with a guy that can. I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying he can get superstar upside in my eyes because the defense is there. I just don't think that the offense is there yet, but he's coming in. I'm going Steph Castle out of Connecticut. 6'5", 210. He's not 20 years old yet, but he's got a 6'9" wingspan. That is the type that you want to see there. He only had 11 points per game, but, people are coming out and saying, oh, well, it's because, in Dan Hurley's offense, then, this could be a thing. But I think he looked okay. The 3-point can come up. I don't mind that. But the steals, free throw, it's getting around that mark. I just feel like that this guy's defense is that good. But if he can put the offense together, then he can be a real upside kind of player. And I don't think there's any other guys that have that kind of build that are around that 6'6" kind of mark where we look at and we go, okay, that's the build that we can kind of take for these type of players. But I think Steph Castle may be there. And when I'm looking at Detroit, I have other guys that are higher on my board to go to Detroit. But, they don't need a playmaking point guard. They got Cade. They don't need a massive center. They got Jalen Duren. You're going to go wing wise. I think the Booze Bus would be perfect for them. But around that mark, I think that the best guy to go in my eyes would probably be Steph Castle.
I hate you, and I realize how much I don't like doing this show with you like last year, where I was hoping that I have all the exact same reasons to work off LaMelo Ball. So I'm just going to preface this here we go. Number 6 for the Charlotte Hornets, taking my my generational team right here. There we go.
Sorry,
right here.
Yeah, you go.
No. Well, I'm taking him. So I'm taking Castle. So I want to answer that with this one. Everything that you said is exactly what he brings to the NBA. And I think that he is a player that we could be very much looking at as one of these guys. Look, let's say LaMelo Ball goes down or Cade Cunningham goes down. We all saw flashes in the pan last year where, we were drafted in guys who fills in these roles all the time. And if we fill in those roles, guys like Stephen Castle, fantasy value-wise, he's going to have some upside this year. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a guy who, if someone goes down on the team and he's on there on one of these teams and these lowly ranked teams, especially if Detroit, isn't very good again, who people would just jump on the waiver wire and pick up. We saw it last year with Scoot Henderson after he absolutely, shat the bed to start the year. People ran out there and got him towards that type of the season. He does have a lot of versatility. He's a great scorer. We all know that he's got the motor. He profiles very well. He will not go outside the top 7, I don't think. His 3-point shot can really be a lot better, but he's got hustle. He's got heart. And his on-ball defense for someone who's all of, 6'5", 6'6" is huge. He's got that in there. As you said, Dan Hurley's system, he could probably do more. But this is what brings me to this one. I'm now not knowing who to go, but so I need a scorer. I need someone who is off ball. I need someone who can pull it up. I need someone off ball. So I'm actually going higher for the Charlotte Hornets than I would have thought of. And I'm probably I'm tossing up someone, but I'm going to go Dalton Connect.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I'm probably higher on him. I'm tossing up between him, honestly.
Yep.
I don't know what Cody Williams is. I don't know what Cody Williams is.
Yep.
I think he's indecisive still. And I think what's going to work best in an offensive, if I look at Connect, he's a bit smaller, so I don't know if he can play that small forward role enough. I think this is where I'm tossing up because I would like a guy, but when I look at Cody and you think that he's bigger than he is, well, he's not. He's basically 6'7".
Yeah.
Connect's older, so he's probably more of that kind of guy. And I'm just starting to play around with who am I going to get at this point in time. And there's a lot of smaller dudes like Devin Carter, 6'3", on the board. So we start to fall it out. We still haven't taken Klingon yet, by the way, but they don't need him. They don't need him in Detroit. But this is very much Detroit will just take someone. So Yeah, I'm thinking that I need size-wise. I do need someone to space the floor for Jaden Ivey. I do need someone who's going to be able to space the floor for Cade Cunningham. And
you're picking for the Hornets, by the way.
Oh, for the Hornets? Yeah, and I'm just going down for like the list if I'm these guys. And so I think guys like that, like Stephen Castle, will go off the board. So by the time that it comes to the 6th pick, you're kind of looking at guys like Connect. Really?
Okay.
I think Carter's too small. Is it going to be Ron Holland?
I like Ron Holland.
Oh, fuck you. I'm going to take your guy. I'm going to take Ron Holland.
Bastard.
There you go. I'm taking Ron Holland. I'm taking Holland off the board. But this is what I mean. You know, this is what we said. The draft starts to go off, and we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're 6 picks in, and to the Charlotte Hornets goes Ron Holland as a guard off LaMelo Ball. Look, he's athletic. I don't think they need another center. They've got Nick Richards. You know, hopefully Mark Williams comes back healthy, so they don't need Klingon in this regard. But, you know, they've got 2 bigs in there who do really well and are serviceable on the team. I'm thinking that they're leaning into a guard, someone to work off the ball a little bit more with LaMelo. I'm definitely looking at one of those guys. It's going to be Holland or Connect for me, and I think I'm leaning Holland.
Yeah, I love Holland. I reckon I've got him super high on my board. I got him around about 4-ish or 3. 20 points a game. Look, the 3-pointers is the only knock, but I think that can come up pretty easily. Rebounds are almost at 7 from a guard. Like, that's awesome.
1.3 steals a game.
2.3 steals, even better.
2.3 steals,
23 in 32 minutes for the G League Ignite as well, coming as not even a 19-year-old. That's a big tick in my eyes. And the wingspan as being that kind of guard, 6'6" height into a 6'10" wingspan. Love that. So if he can shoot, he's a serious player.
Absolutely. Now, coming off the board so far, at number 1, we had Alex Sarr to Skiddy. He is going to the Atlanta Hawks. I took Ricochet at the 2nd pick in our draft. And then, mate, you were really high on this bloke all the way down on our list. Who did you take at number 3? I
took Reed Shepherd.
You took Reedy Shepherd there at number 3. And then at number 4, we took the Booze Bus. We took the Boozy Bus. We took him. And then at number, we've got Castle after that one. And then I have just taken Mr. Holland Jr. off the board, which brings us to number 7. Who have you got?
7 is a bitch because this is for the Portland Trailblazers. And, oh, God, around this is, you know, point guard, center kind of spots. And I don't know if I like any of those. You know what? At this range, I am going, just for Portland. He's a little bit lower on my list, but I think this is where I'm going to have to go with it. And I'm going to take them a wing in the name, if I can find his name, which I can't apparently, and everything keeps moving around. Screw it. I'm going to take Cody Williams out of Colorado, J-Dub's brother. He's 6'6". He's got a 7'1" wingspan. Really love the wingspan. Really love the body for him. He shot really well from 3 early, then went down a little bit. He ended up finishing at 41% from 3, which is quite nice. Only on low attempts a game. He did only have 11 points per game. Good true shooting of 62. So the free throws around 71. I don't mind that there. The defense has got a bit to be desired, but this is the same thing that we saw from his brother in J-Dub. I think that may give him a little bit of a nod. I am not massively high on him as some others are, but in the fact where you see that kind of body and how this draft is kind of formulating, I think we can feel safe in having a crack and just kind of bank on his upside to be somewhat like his brother, which I don't think he's a lot like. But for the Blazers, look, I got point guards and centers around here, so I think having a swing on Williams, because they've got 4 point guards and DeAndre Ayton, and you can't put Klingon next to Ayton, I don't believe, in any single way whatsoever. No. So, I'll go Cody Williams here and see if he can be that defensive type that they see in Thibault and
Tamari Kamara.
Kamara. Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
was close.
No.
But yeah, that's where I'm going with Cody Williams there. I don't like it, but then again, I don't like this draft. So it is what it is.
All right, then I guess it falls to me.
No.
What?
Jakey's overriding here, mate.
Do we trade? Is this a trade? Are we doing a live pod trade?
Jake's just taken number 8 for the Spurs because I reckon
push the button
know
as well. Right.
The pick for the Spurs, mate. The San Antonio Spurs here. They should take our man, Bub Carrington.
Oh, right, Bubby boy.
Mate, this is a almost 6'4", 6'5" point guard and got a wingspan of 6'8". I really like what I can see here out of Pittsburgh. Mate, he had 4.1 assists, 5.2 rebounds, and he can shoot threes as well, which I really like. This is a triple-double threat right here for Bub. He had 32% threes, and then the true shooting of 53. I really like it, G. And when you're pairing him with, you know, any team, I reckon the perfect team to go to would be the San Antonio Spurs, right? If the defensive things aren't
they
there
need a point guard.
For him,
they need a point guard.
They desperately need a point guard. I can make the argument for Topic, but I feel like Carrington, Bubby, is the next other optional choice for the Spurs to be able to get. And I wouldn't be surprised if he shot up this high to be able to get them at 8, or if they traded back to then get him because other teams aren't as high on him. But I reckon that would be the perfect situation, and him and Wemby would be absolutely unreal.
I think the only person in the NBA who could clean up every person's mistakes at the rim is Wemby. It's like, that's okay, Bubby. You just go to sick, Bubby. It's fine.
When we're talking, this could be the best defender we've ever seen in the NBA for years and years and years. Don't come at me. Yeah. I'm just saying there is the possibility.
Victor Wembanyama, just to be clear.
Victor, this could be like he's an anomaly. This could be this could be it. 100%. So the Spurs have got I reckon they got some real arsenal weapons in their arsenal this year, and I reckon they can make something work for this team to be able to pair with Wemby.
Okay, so number 9. Okay.
Yep.
Number 9.
Carry on.
Well, I'm going to just rip straight into it and go to Memphis then, because all the same things apply kind of for Memphis that you said for me. I'm looking at who they need. They need shooting. They need to space. And this is where I was tossing up before. If you think about it, they've got Marcus Smart as a backup, like this 2 guard there. So I need a little bit more size on me. Maybe someone is a small forward. I'm thinking someone who's got a little bit of Maxi Strus in them. And I am going to be bringing in some... at this point in time, I am looking to bring in someone who I can now. It's for me. I'm looking at best player in the draft, and I need a bit of size, but I need shooting because we all know that they love to work off. We know that Jar is a cutter, so someone for me, and I am going to lean into Connect here because he is a do-it-all scorer. He is a movement shooter, a pull-up threat. The guy can work incredibly well off the board. He's ambidextrous. That I love about him. But the thing is that I like about him as well, he does the 1% shit on the floor. So he makes those hustle plays, which means I think that he's going to be really good and fit into, let's call it the grit and grind, getting it back to that kind of style that they love to have in Memphis. And so for me, I'm looking at he's older as well. So he's mature. These guys have been delayed. Like the Pelicans last year were who the Grizzlies should be. You know what I mean? They should be the team that is contending for the Western Conference at this point. They should be.
The Grizzlies had a lot of injuries, in fairness to them.
They did. And Jar was out. He came back. He missed a shitload of games. So I'm going to lean to Connect.
I have Connect pretty low, in fairness, on my board. Gee whiz, I don't mind the pick there, but I'm
going fit.
I can see that, but a guy that's 23 that just beat up on young kids, I love his scoring ability, really love his scoring ability, but I don't see what else he does. And that just kind of goes to me. It honestly screams Lonnie Walker to me.
It also screams Luke Kennard.
It does. Okay, that's just a white comparison. That's low-hanging fruit by you, G. You better
No, who do they have on their team who's aging? And who they will one day need to replace with a younger core. Hello, Luke Kennard.
You can't really call Connect bloody younger. He's almost the same age as Jar.
Exactly right. He's an adult in the room. They need adults in the room there. Skiddy?
Fair enough, mate. No, I can see I can pick up what you're putting down there, mate. 10
Number
for
10.
me at Utah. When I look there, that just screams guard to me. I couldn't see center, but I'm going to have a swing, and that's Rob Dillingham out of Kentucky.
Nice.
If you know one thing about me, you know that I definitely respect the blue and white Kentucky guard situation that goes on there. They breed them differently there. I give them an extra couple of points there. I could see him probably going a little bit higher. I love what he does, 15 points per game, 44 from three. He's got the 3.9 assists, 2.9 rebounds and a steal, 40% from the free throw line, which I really like. And the best part about it is all of this was on Kentucky in 23 minutes a game, G. Do you know whose stats that these look a shitload like that also played at Kentucky?
Who's that? Tell me about it,
Skiddy.
Maxey.
I like what we can see from Dillingham here. The only thing that I have queries on is the fact that he's 6'1". That's a little bit short for me, but I do...
Tiny boy.
I do like the speed and the change. I like that. So I like what we can see here from Dillingham. I think he's not bad defensively. So, and I just really like that offense. And I think that's something that the Jazz especially would be able to make the most of. Because I don't Keontae George is good and there's nothing wrong with Keontae at all, but maybe they want to go more of a scoring punch. And then Will Hardy's a great coach. So I'd back in Hardy there in what they want to do there. So I will take Rob Dillingham there from Kentucky to Utah. And that gives us you at 11. And in my eyes, G, there is a very, very obvious choice at 11 for the Chicago Bulls. But who are you taking?
I'm very curious to see who you want there, because I was thinking Dillingham for them. Well, I was thinking they just need another guard. They've got, obviously, with the playmaking there. At this point in time, I just think it's egregious not to draft my boy. I'm going to have to say Donovan Clingan. Yeah, I think it's glaring. I think they need another center. I think Vooch is probably one of those mid-season trade targets we hear about yet again. Clingan at this point to them is almost like looking a gift horse in the mouth. The man is an absolute stud. He has proven himself to possibly be one of the most NBA-ready people. 7.4 rebounds a game, true shooting percentage of 63.7. Now, we can all take sophomore workouts with a grain of salt. Let's be honest here. Like, we can say that, they've done this and they've gone out there and they're starting to shoot at a greater clip from three. He did show a bit of a stroke in workouts, but that's something that can develop over time. I'm not going to say he's a floor spacer, because the last time somebody said a shot blocking presence like this was a floor spacer, his name was Walker Kessler. And then they decided to kick him outside last year out into the sidelines for the first few games of the season. But no, Walker can shoot threes. No, he couldn't, and then that all went sideways very, very quickly. So look, for me, it's with the bullet fall. If he falls to number 11 now, it's Donovan Clingan, 2.5 blocks a game. He's got some playmaking flashes. He can switch on off-ball defense, which I love. Great rebounder, very big presence near the rim. True shooting percentage of 63.7 as well. That's big time. Absolutely love everything I see out of him. And if he's there for me at number 11, I'm a dummy if I'm not taking him. But then again, we are talking of Chicago.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where I would have gone as well. I feel like that defensive presence that they could get down there when Vooch goes away. Yeah, I think that's you don't need to give him super minutes off the bench to start off with. Just let him learn it, and I think that's going to be a good one there. His free throw percentage really worries me though, but I obviously the threes and
all great centers, great centers. Hello, Rudy Gobert. All great centers we know have struggles with their free throw percentage.
No. Shit centers struggle with their field goal percentage.
Okay,
great centers like Jokic and Embiid
yes.
do not. Hence why I wouldn't take Clingan at number 1. But that's just me. All right, me, Thunder, number 12, Matty G. When I sit there, when I look back on this, when I went to Jazz, I really should have gone with Topic now that I think about it. But I've already made Dillingham as a selection, but either way, that's fine. But I can't take Topic. Even though I have Topic around, 7 or 6, I can't take him for the Thunder because they have Shea, and then they've got Wallace, who can play off the bench as well. What I think they need is a bit of size that they can pair next to Chet. If they pair next to Chet, they would want it to be switchability, to be long and lengthy. They can still space the floor. And there's one guy in my eyes, G, and I'm taking him at 12, and that's Khalil Weir out of Indiana, mate. 16 points per game. He had a true shooting of 62, 58% from the floor. He did shoot 42% from three. That was on 1.3 attempts a game, which I don't mind. 9.9 rebounds, 1.9 blocks. That's in 32 minutes. Free throws can go up a bit, but we'll see that. I reckon may be able to go up there because of the three-point shooting touch. I don't mind it. The height, look, he's almost 7 foot. He's got a 7'5" wingspan. I reckon you could pair him perfectly next to Chet on this Oklahoma City Thunder team. Then you can go real defensive with now Caruso and Dort. He can play a little bit of offense, but you could also just do that with Shea and Chet and doing what you need to do there. Yeah, they probably need a bigger body defender to be able to help with box outs and so, but I feel like they can be able to try and find someone to be able to help with that when need be. But I really like the looks of Khalil where he screams Miles Turner to me, G.
Yeah,
absolutely
I see that.
Screams Miles Turner to me. And
Miles Turner!
Absolutely, mate. I will put this down now, G. I reckon he could be the best center out of this draft.
That's a big call.
I reckon he can be the best center out of this draft. Would not surprise me in the slightest.
Do you think in this ideal world that OKC with their draft capital that they trade up to get another center in this draft? That's another one of the things we're hearing. They've already made the move on the offseason, obviously bringing in Caruso. We all know that they were big poor. A guy like Klingon, who I just took off the board, if he falls to 12 to OKC, they're like, thank you very much. We'll take you, Donovan.
I can see probably three. I reckon I can see three good picks that Oklahoma City could make here. I reckon that if they can get if they can get Klingon, I don't mind that either. But if they could trade up to 4 and get the booze bus, holy shit, that screams OKC. That is Sam Presti to a T. They teach him how to shoot. Holy shit, that is an unbelievable starting time that they can have there. Defense tick. If he can shoot, it's all over like that. And that young core, good Lord.
I'm very curious to see what they do. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we see OKC trade up before draft day. And we're 24 hours. By the time people are listening to this to live tomorrow night, it's either going to have happened and that we'll be putting a preface. We'll have to jump back in and record, or it's going to be one of those draft day green room things where it's like, oh, by the way, these people have switched on picks around. I guess that brings it to me, though. I'm at number 13, the Sacramento Kings.
I can't believe that they have the 13th pick. I thought that, last year they were just going so well, and then you're just like, well, and then they finished and getting this. Like,
and then they get, hello, Atlanta Hawks. They had a disruptive season. Jesus. Bloody hell.
Actually. Oh, no. Yeah, go on.
What are you thinking? What are you brainstorming?
No. I was checking if this is actually their pick, and it's actually the Kings' pick.
This is actually the Kings' pick. Yeah, this wasn't for trade. They got it. You said his name before. Topic.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say there, look, they've already, De'Aaron Fox, we all know that De'Aaron Fox is a playmaker. Topic is the guy, but you also need the big fella to actually be able to go off a little bit of the time. And by big fella, I mean the little fella in De'Aaron Fox, the oft maligned little fella, De'Aaron Foxy Fox. Topic's biggest concern is the three-point shooting, only 30.6 last year. The true shooting percentage, though, because of his ability to finish at the rim and with strength and his high free throw percentage, 14.5 points a game on a 61 true shooting percentage. His assist, his vision, he loves rebounding. His handle is incredible. He is slick Rick. Now, his minuses are, for me, his defense. His big knock is defensive. Bigger, quicker, athletic guys can get past him. And this is not just to make the whole Luka conversation, but this is a thing with guards of this ilk. We saw it happen in the finals. There's at a point where you can bulky and you can use your body. He doesn't have the body that Luka does, obviously. So defense for him, for the quicker athletic guys, he doesn't have that. I mean, he's shifty in himself, but that's where he creates his space on offense. That's where he can create his shiftiness and his some deception on defense with where he's going, because he is savvy again. So for me, I'm going Topic. I think it's a really good pick. I think it's a really great fit in Sacramento. So with the 13th pick, I'm taking Toby.
I like it. I really like it. Yeah. I think like the negative wingspan worries me a little bit, and the fact that he was they were not fully disclosing his ACL injury or something like that, and I'm just like, oh, geez, that's worries. But
he'll have a red shirt rookie. For me now, because of that, I think you hit the nail on the head because they didn't disclose that. We could see a Ben Simmons red shirt rookie year for him.
No. Apparently, it's not a full ACL. They didn't disclose him having an injury whatsoever.
I wouldn't be surprised if something happens if they need more time to bring him on. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm going to say. I've heard a few things in the Twitter or the X sphere, whatever you want to call it, that they're very happy to take him around this point in the draft, redshirting for a year. They've got a competitive team. They really like what's going on the last couple of seasons in Sacramento. Of course, as you would, they've come out of the doldrums. Bring him in next year. Perfect. Or if anything goes sideways this year, imagine if they tanked for the love of God and got a top pick next year with this and they come back healthy. I don't think that's going to happen by any way, shape, or form. But with an injury like this, you can see a guy take a hot second and then come back stronger, better for it. And that's where I think Topic falls. A number pick falls to you for their second pick with inside the top 15. Your favorite team, because I know you loved talking about them last time. It is the Portland Trailblazers, Skiddy. Ooh, Portland.
Bloody hell. I don't know where I'm going to go here with Portland. I think I'd just probably take the best guy on my board. I am going to say where I'm currently sitting at, because Portland, you've got so many guards. They've got Ayton, Grant's going, but where I really say they need shooting guard, small forward kind of depth, though, I'm going to go with Jacoby Walter here. 15 points a game, 34% from three. But, the rebounding was nice from the guard position out of Baylor. I don't mind that. He's got the 6'10" wingspan, which is really nice. He's pretty athletic, not even 20 years old yet, 6'5", so that's around the mark. 3-pointing's around the mark. Everything's just around the mark, which I like from Jacoby. I think he would fit well there next to Scoot coming up. He is pretty well defensively sounded, so I don't mind that for Jacoby. So I think that this can just be a nice little punch next to Scoot. The way that he just kind of holds himself, I like that. I like that for him as well. So I'll take Jacoby Walter there going to the Portland Trailblazers, Matty G.
Mate, then I guess that falls to me at the next pick. I've got here at pick 14. I've got the Philadelphia. Heat. It is the Miami Heat
at 15. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking now here to 15. I am looking at the Miami Heat, and I'm thinking, what do I need here? I'm thinking maybe some more points. I maybe needing some playmaking. Maybe. Now, a guy that I've heard around is Tyler Kolek around. He's been floated around as one of the picks around this one. I'm not as keen on him around this mark. I'm looking for probably look, I like Jared McCain.
I like it too.
I like Jared McCain a hell of a lot in this draft. For me, he is one of my favorite players in the draft. I think he's coming out of Duke. He's coming in hot. I absolutely love what he can do with the 3-point game. He is an absolute catch and shoot threat. We don't know what's going on with, obviously, we've heard all of the things here with old mate, Jimmy Buckets being in. But the guy is really dependable. He's a solid ball handler, 41.4% from three last year. I think his play reading could probably go up a little bit. His true shooting percentage is almost at 62%, 14.3 points a game with Duke. But he's also a selfless passer. But that's what I like about him. He's always willing to make the pass. So he'll get the reads. He'll make it. But again, if you look at his college stats, his averages for assists weren't that great, Skiddy. And so that's why people be like, oh, but he's not that good of a playmaker. I'm like, yeah, but he makes the right pass. It's people finishing it at an NBA level, which is always going to be probably a little bit better than that of the college guys you're mucking around with over at Duke, as a hot step. So for me, that's where I'm looking into. I'm probably going to take him to round it out there.
Like that.
And for me, that's where I'm kind of falling for him. I need a new playmaker in town. I need someone young who I can develop through the ranks of Miami. So I'm probably looking at Jared McCain as my last pick here. Now, we're going to recap these and we're going to put them all up on our Discord as well, what we've done with our first bunch of picks right here. And don't forget, if you're not already Skiddy, you got to get in the Discord Unlimited.
Oh, mate, absolutely you do. It goes off every single weekend, whether it's NRL or AFL at the moment. We get over 1,000 comments a weekend on AFL and NRL, which is fantastic. And then when the NBA starts pumping back up, we'll be in there pretty much every day talking about the games and what we saw and what we do. And then, if you want to get into the Inside Unlimited chat as well, $25 for the year, and you get everything that we are thinking, saying any questions that you want answered, we will try and get back to it and do it as soon as possible. And we give you, we don't bullshit, do we, G? We don't fuck spiders. We don't try and give half-assed comments to try and undercut you in any single way, even if you are in our leagues. It is all 100% honest of what we would do, especially bang on the money.
Now, talking of that as well, we've got some guys who we're talking about, some other hot takes you may have heard names around. These guys we're going to run through really, really quickly. Here's some guys on the board that you might hear some talk about. We've got guys like Devin Carter. We've got Solana still on our board. We've got Zach Eady. We've got Carlton Bub Carrington, who I just, by the way, Bubby, love it. Favorite name in the buff. And guy from last year, Bobby Clintman over here, who absolutely showed out. And we really know from the Matty over at our Insight NBL show that he was putting Bobby Clintman in his team and telling everyone in Supercoach to pull in Clinty really, really quickly. Other names we haven't mentioned yet. Take us through these ones, Skiddy.
Yeah, mate. So Isaiah Collier, I actually like him. I like what he can do. So he's definitely one to watch there. Kyle Filipowski, the fellow, he looks like he could be something there. He could rise up as well. I think Collier is the main man that could rise up the draft board, so we've got to keep an eye on him. Kevin McCullough Jr. and Terrence Shannon Jr. as well there, G. Another one that I want to throw in there is our man from Melbourne, Johnny Furphy. Really like Furphy is what he can do as his floor spacer. Didn't see a full amount from Kansas last year, but he's a guy that can do everything, mate. This is rebounds, assists. He can make those passes. Threes can be there as well. I really like what we can see out of Furf.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, loving Furphy and loving that an Aussie bloke has been invited to the green room yet again as well. Look, Eve Messi. He's also a name that I'm hearing running around a few boards as well. So we're expecting him to go in the first round. We're gonna do a full recap though, live Thursday night Australian time, like 7:30, 7:45 p.m. We'll kick it off, I reckon, Skiddy.
Yep.
We'll do that then. We'll do that about then. We'll put it all up. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the things to our Inside shows and to get the latest content from Inside NBA. Guys, thank you. Like and subscribe. We'll see you soon. It's good to be back in the saddle with you, Skidmore.
Fantastic, isn't it, mate? I really really missed it. But it's good to be back, mate. So we'll get stuck into it. And then, mate, we've got the draft show coming up on Thursday. And then free agency is getting around the corner, mate.
Live reaction show. First night of free agency.
What we've we may as well quickly do it now. What do you think, Caruso for Giddy? What do you reckon?
Oh, touching back on that. The Chicago Bulls got a steal.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If you go back through some of the stats that you've heard, like that I've seen over the time, last year was a write-off year for Josh Giddey. He was maligned in OKC. He was out. You could just tell him, like, I've got to find, you know what? I don't start much X stuff, but I tweeted out during the playoffs that he was done. And this wasn't, oh, you dickhead. He was commentating for the local team. Yep. But if you look in the background, he'd finished for the local team. He looked over his shoulder and he walked in the opposite direction of every single one of the main guys in the core, putting their arms around each other, doing the interview together. A band of brothers. Steven Spielberg would have put them on the cover of the next sequel of Band of Brothers, the OKC players in their huddle. But no, where was Joshy? Nowhere to be found. You could just tell there was friction within the team. He was unhappy with how he'd been marginalized in the offense. He was coming off the bench during games. It wasn't for him. Now, if his shot improves, we've got to talk about it. Skiddy, the bloke's 21 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the potential is 100% there. I just think every single time I hear it, I reckon Giddy's potential's there, and I reckon that he's definitely going to be a fantasy asset this year for Chicago because this could be a triple-double threat. We've seen it before. Could definitely be a triple-double threat to be able to run the show there in Chicago.
His stock's up for fantasy. His stock is up for fantasy for me.
100%. Caruso's stock is nothing for fantasy anymore, but I think what he's going to be able to bring to that OKC team is going to be so valuable.
I think he's an amazing streamer. If you find him in, though, when he's healthy and he's on a good run, last year he was so invaluable.
Yeah, but that's because he was playing so many minutes and because he was generating so many steals and blocks from the guard position. Yeah. What if he doesn't 100%. Do that?
Well, he doesn't need to do that, but he still will be doing the defense though. Look, I'm not going to, I think he'll be around equal value of last year because if you think about it, Shea's still going to be there. J-Dub's going to be there. They're primary defenders. He's going to be another excellent defender. Case and Wallace. Like this team they will use him. He will be utilized. Yeah, I don't know in what role yet, but he's still going to be productive, but this is the question. What do you take a last round pick on? Second last round pick on? Do you do the flip? Do you take 2 flyers in the last 2 rounds, or do you take a good contributor across the board, best guy available on the board, and a flyer? I think it kind of falls into that debate. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep. I can also say that. Also, too, I think it kind of I think this can definitely help Shea as well because Shea we know loves to do the intercept passing lanes to generate steals.
Loves a passing lane.
And when you're doing a point of attack defense of Dort and Caruso, that is pretty damn tough to be able to comprehend with. So
that's
Yep. Okay. So
add a center to that mix that they're going to get in the off season, and that's his. Oh, by the way, in the off season, before we come back in, you need to get some of our gear.
Oh yeah.
Especially your weakest piss, do better shirt. It's all available on our website. It's all available on the shirt. What?
Oh, it's weakest piss. Be better.
Weakest piss. Be better.
You be better.
I'll do better. You got this one here, though, because I was looking at my shirt.
I got this one.
I'll be better. I'll be better, Skiddy. Look, it's all available on our website right now. If you want to know what we're talking about, go and grab that one. State of Origin's up there. There's gear for cane toads and cockroaches alike in there. And we have a special line of Father's Day merch dropping next week. Make sure you get onto that one. Yes, I've got some stuff in the lab. I could whip up in the laptop and just show you around, but I'm using the laptop in the front of me. Make sure you like, subscribe. We'll catch you live on Thursday night. Everyone be well. This is Inside NBA. Take care, everyone.